Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. This is Focal Point, and you are listening to Focal Point on the American Family Radio Talk Network, AFR Talk. Welcome aboard the USS Focal Point, our patrol boat, not a pleasure cruise. We relentlessly patrol the choppy waters of America's public life, looking for the intersection of truth and politics, truth and public policy. And that's what we do here at AFR Talk, but that's not all that we are involved in here at the American Family Association and at AFR. We are partnering this month with World Concern to provide help. There are 7 million children in the third world around the world that suffer from these intestinal parasites that suck nutrition from their bodies, that suck vitamin A out of their bodies, which can precipitate blindness. They become more vulnerable to diseases like cholera and malaria. And we are joining with World Concern this week to do something about this issue, the beauty of it. And I want to bring in our special guest, Cathy Herholdt. Cathy is with World Concern. She is the communications coordinator for World Concern. And Cathy, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher.
Hi, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Well, you bet. And I can't tell you what a pleasure it's been to partner with World Concern over the course of this month. Our campaign ends tomorrow on Friday, as we have spent the month of May highlighting this project that World Concern is undertaking, and we want to provide some help for these children. So Cathy, tell us, I've talked about this frequently with our listening audience, but I want to make sure that everybody knows what this is about. There may be some tuning in today that haven't heard us before. So tell us what the 44-cent cure is and why it's important.
Sure, absolutely. The 44-cent cure is a combination of deworming medicine, vitamin A, as you mentioned, which is depleted from kids' bodies when they have parasites. And we couple that with hygiene training, access to clean water, sanitation, things like that in order to prevent reinfection in these kids. So they're not only cured from the parasites, but then we help protect them from getting sick again in the future.
Now, you're calling this, and we're calling this in partnership with you, the 44-cent cure. I want to talk about both elements of that. Why is it the 44-cent cure? What's the 44 cents refer to?
So it costs just 44 cents to administer this medication to a child. So it's one of the most affordable and cost-efficient ways to fight poverty because you can have such a huge impact for such a small amount of money. So we used to be able to say it's the cost of a postage stamp. Now stamps have gone up a little bit, but so it's less than the cost
that's the beauty.
Of a postage
That's
stamp.
the beauty of it. For less than the cost of a first-class postage stamp, you can cure a child. And Cathy, talking here with Cathy Herholdt, the communications coordinator for World Concern. We also referring to this as the 44-cent cure. Now, cure is a strong word. Cure means we're not just making people better or slightly improving things. It's a cure. It's a fix-it. Why is that an accurate term to use for this?
Absolutely. It's really amazing. The medicine is so effective that within a couple of hours, a day or two at most, the worms are actually expelled from the child's body after they take the medicine, and they're gone. They've been treated, and they are cured of parasites. So it is very effective, very fast-acting. The kids feel relief immediately. They're able to start eating healthy again, absorbing nutrients from their food. They're sleeping better at night because they're not in pain. They can go back to school. Their lives can carry on, and they have that relief. It's immediate, and it is a cure.
Cathy, we've got one soundbite from, we've played a number of these as we've been highlighting this project, soundbite from someone who's talking about a child whose life has been transformed by just 44 cents. That's the beauty of this thing, ladies and gentlemen. For 44 cents, you can change the entire future of a child's life. Let's listen.
The parasites were so bad in my stomach that I just didn't feel like eating, even when the food was in front of me. When I would drink some water, just a few minutes later, I would throw it up. Then, World Concern came to give us some training, and they explained the medicine to me and others in this area. After that, I wasn't afraid of the medicine, and so I took the medicine. The next day, the parasites left my body. After taking the medicine, I felt very good and began to eat it again. Now, everybody in this area has taken the medicine, and everyone is talking about it because it is so simple but very, very good.
So as a child, life transformed for just 44 cent cure. So for $44, you can care for and cure 100 children. For $1,100, you can cure and care for 2,500 children. My wife and I are participating in this program. I hope you will too. Tomorrow's the last day. And according to the information we've got so far in our joint partnership with World Concern, we are at about 400,000 children that have been helped. We set out with a goal of curing and caring for 300,000 children when the project began. We've blown the doors off. We've blown way past that. We're pushing 400,000. And our goal now by this time tomorrow is to be at about 500,000. We would like, in partnership with World Concern, to have the listening audience of AFR and AFR Inspo, both sides, both of our radio networks, the Inspirational Network and the Talk Network, participating together in this joint project. We would like to touch the lives of 500,000 children through this project. A number to call if you want to provide some help. Grab your credit card. Call 800-700-8084. That's 800-700-8084. Let me give that number one more time. If you got something to write or want to punch it into your cell phone, number to call is 800-700-8084. You also can go to afr.net, the website for our radio networks, afr.net, and you can donate there online. And Cathy, one more thing I want to talk with you about. Well, a couple of more things, actually. Number one, there are obviously other diseases that are out there in the third world. We read about malaria. We read about cholera. Why is this 44-cent cure so important for these children in the third world in dealing with these other diseases?
Well, a couple reasons. One, children living in extreme poverty are very susceptible to intestinal parasites. They're drinking contaminated water. They're living in unsanitary conditions. Oftentimes, they're playing barefoot in the dirt, in the same dirt where people go to the bathroom, to be honest. And they're very easily infected with parasites. But the other thing is that when they have the worms and their bodies become, more susceptible to other diseases, their immune systems are weakened, then they are often infected with the kinds of diseases like cholera and malaria that you mentioned. So it's a really important intervention to treat the parasites initially and help strengthen their bodies and strengthen their immune systems so that they can protect themselves from some of these other things.
And two more things, Cathy. One thing I want to ask you about is you mentioned the sources of contamination, can be contaminated food, can be contaminated water. And so World Concern isn't just content to provide this 44-cent cure, which is what this project is about. This is step one in providing kind of a holistic treatment for these individuals. But World Concern will also go back in and follow up, trying to improve sanitation and water supplies.
Absolutely, because we do see it as a holistic approach to ending poverty, and treating the parasites is a really critical first step in that. We've got to get these kids healthy before we can help them change their lives. They need to be in school. They need to be properly nourished. They need to be growing and developing so that they can work someday and support their own families. And so that's just the first step. It's a very critical first step. Relieves a lot of pain and a lot of suffering for children and for families. But like you said, then we do remain in these communities long-term, helping bring clean water, building latrines for better sanitation, teaching them hygiene skills so that they understand the importance of washing their hands, staying clean, how to prepare their food safely, that kind of thing, so that they can stay healthy.
And one last thing, Cathy, World Concern in our partnership with you, AFA or AFR along with you, not just concerned with the physical health of these children, but also World Concern is concerned about their spiritual health, not just life in this age, but life in the age to come. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's really an important piece for us. World Concern goes to some of the most remote, hard-to-reach, poor places in the world. That's our calling. We feel called to go to those places that few others go and reach those families there. When we visit villages, oftentimes we hear from the families in those villages that no one else has ever come to help them. And so we feel like we are the hands and feet of Christ as we go into these villages to bring practical help, to demonstrate God's love in their lives as we provide these kinds of things. And the 44-cent cure is a great example of that, because there's such compassion for the kids that are suffering, and there's such relief immediately after they have it. And so we really feel like in partnership with folks like your listeners, we are able to reach into some of these really difficult, challenging, even dangerous places with God's love.
Mm-hmm. Our guest has been Cathy Herholdt, of Communication Coordinator for World Concern. And again, 400,000 children so far have been helped, cared, and cured for. We'd like to get to 500,000 by the end of this week. Tomorrow is the last day. 44-cent cure, 44 cents. You can cure and care for one child for $44. You can cure and care for 100 children, and it ratchets right up from there. If you've got $1,100 to donate to this project, you can cure and care for 2,500 children whose lives will never be the same because of your generosity. The number is 800-700-8084. Grab a credit card. Call that number, 800-700-8084, or go to afr.net, donate online. Cathy, thank you for taking time to chat with us, and God bless you and the work of World Concern.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you to everyone who's making this huge impact.
Listen to Focal Point on AFR Talk. Be right back after these messages. Don't go anywhere.